Hey, good evening, everybody. Nice to see everybody. If you may have noticed, I'm not in my home. I'm on a little trip with my family and having lots of fun. Got a lot of sun in today. We're at like a water park. I rented a cabin nearby, so I'm having lots of fun. But I apologize, I don't have my whole normal setup, so it's a little bit more slow today with the technology. And today's reading, um, yeah, it's a short reading, but it's a very important reading. And it's actually the last reading we're going to have from Mother's Memoir during this condition. And then moving forward, we're going to be reading some of Mother's most recent messages and even watching some video clips from IP's TV of the speeches that she's been giving. So we can kind of get a sense of like Mother's spirit and her energy and what's really on her mind right now. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Bear with me. Okay. So we're reading two short paragraphs from this section in Mother's Memoir, which is the restoration of Canaan in heaven and on earth. And if you can, I think someone from my team is here, maybe Katerina, if you can just help admit people. I don't have my two screens, so it's a little more difficult today. Okay, here we go. Okay, on the foundation of these and more works over the following decade, at a major ACLC meeting in Las Vegas 2015, I proclaimed for the first time, I have come as the only begotten daughter for God and humankind. Let's realize God's will together. The ministers welcomed my words with cheers. Why have we not known of this truth until now? Some of them said. Why has this obvious fact never crossed our minds? I challenged those thousand ministers. The 21st century is the era of true parents. Who are the chosen people of this age? The answer is you. You are the chosen people centered on true parents in the 21st century. And the second reading just a few pages later. On this foundation, I delivered my message. Christians should not have put their focus only on the second coming of Christ, but also on his bride, the only begotten daughter. Heaven chose the Korean people at this historical time and brought about not just the birth of Father Moon in 1920, but the birth of Mother Moon, the only begotten daughter, in 1943. We must know that the blessing officiated today by the only begotten daughter, true mother, is humanity's long awaited dream of 6,000 years and the wish of our heavenly parent. As I uttered those words, I wept. The hearts of all those in attendance felt those tears. So like I said, it's a short reading, but there's I think a real purpose behind choosing these particular sections. And these words were not from very long ago. Many of you were probably at some of these, these historic moments in Las Vegas at Prudential Center when we launched WCLC. And I remember also being at those programs. And at that time, I was the director of YAM Youth and Young Adult Ministry for some some role there. I can't remember, but at that time anytime True Mother came to America and was holding a big rally, we would bring hundreds of young people from around the nation, and we would do a workshop surrounding these rallies so that our young people could really feel connected to Mother's heart and Mother's spirit. And I just remember it being such a spiritual time because it was the first time I really felt like, as a generation, we were really tapping into what Mother's providence at that time, like the excitement and the energy and the alignment. It was the first time I had really experienced what it was like to have this level of vertical alignment with True Mother. And there's something so powerful about it to be able to, that feeling, right? Like when you finally get it, like you hit the sweet spot in something and everything makes sense and everything is starting to connect. And so these workshops were incredibly profound. And so much so that, as we were watching what was happening with ACLC during these rallies, where Mother was really trying to strengthen the Christian foundation, almost like restoring and fulfilling what had been lost at the blessing of true parents, that they weren't, received by a strong Christian foundation. It was like all of this was finally coming to pass, that we had waited this long for this to finally happen. And I think as a younger generation, we were so excited and moved by this that, we also launched YCLC same day that we launched WCLC. So we had a program right afterwards. And, right before this call, Hannah and I were just touching base about remembering being at these speeches. And she said the same thing that came to mind when I read these speeches. I remember Mother's speech as she launched WCLC. And actually, it was a very chaotic experience. I don't know if you guys know, but we had 800 young people at the launch of WCLC, but we didn't have a section of seats saved for us. So we came in at one point and we sat everybody down, and then we found out that our tickets actually had been given to somebody else. So everybody had to stand up and we didn't know where to go. And so for a while, we actually sat behind the screen, basically behind the stage. And then we found then as Mother was coming on, all the seats were not filled in. And so we got this urgent call saying, you need to go fill in the seats. I see Rosia nodding. You remember that, right? And so we had all the team leaders messaging them, it's urgent. We want Mother to see a full stage. And we're like grabbing 10 kids and having them sit here and 5 kids and sit there. And it's funny to laugh about now, but Tasna and I were basically like crying the whole time because it was so stressful for us. It was very difficult, and I feel very grateful for the young people who just really, we told them, you guys saved the day, right? You brought the victory to fill in all the seats. But because of that, I was standing right behind Reverend Dunkley, who asked us to go fill in all the seats right there on the bottom floor. And I saw Mother coming out, and I was so shocked, right? She's surrounded by her team, and I got a glimpse of like her face, and all of a sudden I just like bawling and bawling and bawling. I had to sit on the floor. I was like just crying, and I was, what is happening? I have to still message people and do so, but I'm just bawling and bawling. And it was like, you could feel True Mother's presence coming on for this moment, that this was really a historic moment. And if you remember when she gave this speech, as she says in this paragraph here, she says that she shed tears. And she said the hearts of all those in attendance felt those tears. And I remember feeling that. I remember everybody in the room feeling that, tapping into Mother's total authentic presence. And now, as I've kind of developed my understanding of Mother, I realize that it is the total presence of Heavenly Mother that we have never before experienced. Those moments when Mother like totally opens up her heart and captures everybody. It's an authentic space, right, ladies? That's not easy for us to do, to be willing to put our hearts out there, but Mother does it every time she speaks, and it captures people's hearts. I mean, when I was working for UPF, I would be sitting next to high level leaders that we would bring from America, political leaders, not spiritual or religious leaders, and sitting next to them, watching them watch Mother give the same speech she always gives, where she says, I'm the only begotten daughter, we need to attend parent, she doesn't change her message, it's the same always. And I'm curious, like, how do they take it? But my testimony is that because Mother brings this true presence of Heavenly Mother every time she speaks, she doesn't hold it back. She doesn't doubt it. She does it with confidence and with grace, that nobody in the audience can question it because it is real and authentic and something that we have all been longing for all of human history. And I think that's what draws people to our True Mother. So it's exciting to be reading these words that many of us were at, or we watched it live, or we were there live, because this is part of True Mother's history. This is some of the key victories that she's really claiming at this time. And we were a part of it, right? We were sitting there. For my generation, that's very exciting, because usually when you read Father and Mother's words, you weren't there at those historical times, but this was a time that many second generation were able to stand with Mother. So I wanted to just share that reflection and that testimony from my own memory and experience. And we have some wonderful ladies, both from Nevada today, different areas. But first, we're going to welcome Mary Hida from Las Vegas to share her reflection with us. Welcome, Mary.
Yes, thank you. I don't even know what I'm going to say, but I just, as you were speaking, was just thinking about the mother that we've known over the years, and how, yes, we're part of history, aren't we? We actually were there when this, or we were there when Mother said this, when Father said this. So it is so exciting to me to witness our young people having those moments as well. I was there, and the pride that our second gen, or even next gen, feel when they realize that they are actually a part of this whole new kind of movement that True Mother has, the movement of learning the essence of Jesus, the essence of God. I was thinking this afternoon about essence. What so often we think we know people. Oh yeah, I know that person. Oh yeah, I worked with that person. I lived my whole church life at this place or that place. But the truth is, we don't know. And I saw True Mother many, many, many times, and I didn't know her essence. I still don't know her essence. But as time went on, the different periods, especially after True Father passed away, and seeing Mother, the strength, conviction, all those amazing words that we could say about True Mother, how she looked like she changed. But no, she didn't change. She was that way. That was her. She had wanted to express, or to take on that whatever was inside of her for so long, and now it just came out step by step. And we witnessed when Mother talked about that she was the only begotten daughter. And I was like everyone else, I was like, can you please use different words? That sounds like, I don't know, but I come from a Christian background. My parents were missionaries, Christian missionaries, and a lot of times the words made a difference in the way you witness. So Mother, can you change the words in English? It just doesn't sound right, So a lot of us were thinking in that way. But as time went on, and we could see True Mother, how she's working, she doesn't have any hesitation at all, no fear, no, she just comes forward with more and more things that yeah, she must have an amazing mind, and dream. She just, I've obviously, we've never seen anyone like our True Mother, and it's exciting to see that we're all together as sisters, and working towards kind of becoming, in our own way, like True Mother. She's showing us, so a lot of us are becoming more brave and more out there than we have before, and we've especially here in Las Vegas, we've got a lot of relationships going on, and some of them for a long period of time. So, and many of our contacts have had, they have True Mother's book. I don't think very many people have actually read it, but that's another aspect I'd like to challenge. How can we get people to actually know what this book says? So yeah, thank you so much. I didn't know what I was going to say, but thank you, Kayleigh, for
Beautiful. Thank you, Mary. Yeah, your genuine heart of love and excitement for Mother and what she's doing is perfect. I'm really grateful for it. And actually, you reminded me of one point that I think is important to say as we read this passage, is that it's interesting when you think about the first place that Mother actually came to start talking about her identity as the only begotten daughter. The first place she really came to publicly announce it, do we know where that was? It was here in America. And I think that's something really important to pay attention to. Why is that? Why would Mother come to America first to really educate about the identity of the only begotten daughter? And there's many reasons for it. I'm sure you can think and you can pray about it, but I think it has to do with the readiness of America. But I also think it has to do with the readiness also of women to be able to stand with Mother to protect the only begotten daughter and be able to really uphold, this identity. We don't have as much culturally. We are very lucky to have a little bit more freedom, right, and access to our identity as women at this time. So I think Mother trusting us at this time to be the ones who can stand most strongly with her. So yeah, thank you, Mary. Now we're going to move over to the Reno area of Nevada, and let's welcome up Hannah Gravan to share her thoughts with us.
Thanks, Kayleigh. Yeah, I just want to go back and reread a few of these sentences in this reading, in this passage. So it's two different speeches, two different paragraphs, two different speeches. So Mother is proclaiming, and I think it's important to kind of give a little bit of the background on this first speech. Like Kayleigh was just mentioning, actually, this was the first time that Mother was saying she's the only begotten daughter. This speech, this moment to the ACLC leaders back in 2015. And Mother actually explains in the memoir, if you just go back a few paragraphs, that section, she explains the significance of the United States in Christianity and the role it played in Christianity. Christianity started in Europe, but there was persecution, or not persecution, it's sort of like Christianity lost its center and forgot what they were supposed to be doing. She speaks specifically about England, that the monarch became sort of like the head of the church, and people were no longer able to genuinely practice their faith. So that's why they came to the United States. We all know that story, but I think the other thing, Mother doesn't talk about this in that particular section, but we know the story of this is where Christianity came from, in terms of it's eventually making its way to Korea. So the United States is playing a significant role, and there's more to be said about that, but I want to be mindful of the time. So Mother says, I have come as the only begotten daughter of God and humankind. Let's realize God's will together. And the ministers respond, why have we not known this truth until now? Why has this obvious fact never crossed our minds? And then she goes on to say, who are the chosen people of this age? The answer is you. You are the chosen people, centered on true parents in the 21st century. So I think she's highlighting the significance of Christianity, specifically the United States, but Christianity is meant to receive true mother. And, you know, again, a lot more can be said about that, but what I want to highlight is what she's writing in her memoir. The sentence that they're responding is, why has this obvious fact never crossed our minds? So what Mother is saying is that this is obvious. What does obvious mean? Obvious means it's been there in our faces, available for us to see. It's been there all along. It's been there since the beginning, which means it's been there since Mother, since the holy marriage blessing, right? So since 1960, this has been there, and it has been obvious. So the question that I ask, or the ministers are asking too, is like, what got in the way of us seeing this thing that was obvious? We didn't see it. So what was in the way between me seeing the obvious thing? What got in the way, or who got in the way? I think that's a question that we need to really think about and pray about. And then the second speech, the second paragraph, Christians should not have put their focus on the second coming of Christ, only on the second coming of Christ, but also on his bride, the only begotten daughter. And then she goes on to say that heaven chose the Korean people, true father was born there, but also true mother was born in Korea. And she says, we must know that the blessing officiated today by the only begotten daughter, the true mother, is humanity's long-awaited dream of 6,000 years and the wish of our heavenly parent. So I think I need to pause here and maybe share a little bit about my recent reflections about true mother, or specifically about the significance of the mother, right? And like the last few days, maybe this past week, we've talked about mother's interpretation of the womb and the ovum and the semen coming together. But I mean, I think that I think it's important to pause and look at that. Like, what is the role of a mother? So the ovum, or the egg, and the semen and the sperm, come together, and they fertilize an egg. They fertilize the egg, and then that's where a life comes from. But when we just even look at the beginning, even before the beginning of life, the ovum is actually about 10,000 times larger than the sperm. The reason being, the ovum holds all the nutrients necessary to sustain life and to grow life. And not to get into the weeds of that, but I guess I want to be clear. The sperm holds half the genetic code, and so does the ovum. And they dictate who that person will become, right? The characteristics of, this child. So the value is equal. The value is the same. But the significance of the substance is disproportionate, largely disproportionate. Now, obviously, that's the beginning. Then the mother's body brings nourishment to this child, right? And if the mother breastfeeds, after the child's born, that's even more so. So what I'm trying to say is, in value, the man or the father and the mother are equal, but in substance, the mother holds disproportionately a greater role. So to the point where when a baby is born, the mass, the substance of the child is like, it's almost like it's all mother. It's the amount from the substance, the mass from the father is negligible. So anyway, understanding that, yes, that's the physical development of a child. This is the way God designed it. But we can probably all agree that in rearing the child, maybe from an internal perspective, the mother plays a really disproportionate role, especially at the beginning of a child's life. So the question that I ask myself, and I think we should all think about, is what have I inherited? And let's say in my spiritual upbringing, how much have I inherited from True Father? I think most of us would probably answer that. It's significant. What we've inherited from True Father is significant. What have I inherited from True Mother? Is this sort of like, is this proportion the way that it was meant to be? So back to the speech, Mother is, what I want to say before that is, when a mother is not able to nourish, nurture, and sustain the life of their child, rear them, it's an absolute tragedy if the substance of the mother is not there. So as Mother is saying, we must know that the blessing officiated today by the only begotten daughter, the true mother, is humanity's long-awaited dream of 6,000 years and the wish of our heavenly parent. And then she says, as I uttered those words, I wept. I remember those tears, and I have to repent because when Mother cried, I didn't understand in that moment. I felt it, like Kayla was sharing. I think we need to wonder, why was Mother crying so desperately? All right, thank you.
Wow. Yeah, I couldn't stop Hannah there because actually what Hannah is talking about is something that comes up in the rebirth workshops that Reverend Dunkley is going around and sharing, and this point about the crucial role of our inheritance from our mothers, and also from our heavenly parent, from our heavenly mother. Dang, Hannah, you don't even know how Hannah hasn't even been to the rebirth workshop. She's like so aligned. Wow, really incredible insight there. Wow, worth it, right? To go a little bit over time, brothers and sisters. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, honey. That's great. Wow, I'm shocked. I'm like, wow, okay. So we're going to switch to our prayer time now. And Hannah, I'll ask you to pray first. And then Mary, when she's finished, you can offer your prayer and we'll do our unison prayer. So let's go ahead, Hannah, when you're ready, please go ahead and offer your prayer at this time.
Our dearest Heavenly Father, Mother God, and our dearest true parents. Thank you, Heavenly Parent. I'm so grateful to be alive today at the time of our true parents, especially at the time of our true mother. And my parent, I ask that this role that our true mother plays can be something that we can inherit, that we can become, not just in theory, not just in a dream, but in substance, in every day, in the struggles, in the pain, in the suffering, in the deep lessons, in the wounds, and that we can open our hearts up so that Mother can fill those spaces, that we can reveal to Mother the wounds, the darkness, the things that we are not proud of, that we can delight in the joy of being her daughter. And I pray, Heavenly Parent, that this is not something that just touches our hearts. Mother says that this blessing is for everyone, that we can really, really seriously consider and move forward with this question or this intention of making this a reality for all the people in our lives, all the people, Heavenly Parent. Mother talks about all her children in this world. Can we have that same kind of heart and attitude and seriousness? God, this space amongst our sisters is sacred. And I want to say thank you. And I pray that you can really hold them as they move forward in their paths, and that we can truly play a role in holding our families and holding our communities and really making our true mother proud. I offer this prayer to you in the name of Edwin and Hannah Gravron, the Gravron family, the Blessentra family, and owners of Chanakuk. Aju.
Our precious Heavenly Parent. Oh, how deeply we are moved when we are in the presence of our beautiful sisters and some brothers who really understand what it is to be in a family, in True Parents family. Many here have grown up in the movement, and there are others of us who chose somehow. We met somebody, or we were guided to come to this movement. We each have our own path. We each have our own time to understand different aspects of you, Heavenly Parent. And now is a time when we're given direct contact with our true mother. She's talking to us personally. She is saying, I want to be able to be proud. I want to be able to brag about all of you. She's taking our reports. She's taking our letters. She's praying and seeing things, and she's seeing what needs to be done. And she needs us. She wants to do it together. It's so different than Christianity until now has understood what the Messiah is. We're going together with True Mother, and she so much wants us right there with her. She doesn't want to be even going even way ahead. She wants us, come with me at each turn, or each time something else is revealed. She wants us to be there with her. She doesn't want us to slow down by doubting, and just come with me, she says. We didn't know the essence of our true mother. We sure didn't. We saw the beauty. We saw that we wouldn't want to be in that situation. It's so hard. We saw all kinds of things, but we didn't really know the essence of our true mother. Now she's revealing in different ways, and she's opening up so many paths for our next generations to follow. I think we often, we older members were really concerned, what's going to happen in the next decades, in the next generations. But now we can see that our young people, our precious our precious children, our second generation, and those who have come to know true mother, especially since True Father went to the spirit world, they are the ones who are getting all kinds of understanding. And wow, that's a wonderful time to live in. So please, I pray that you can be with each one of our sisters here, that you can give them whatever it is that they need. We're so fortunate that we have that motherly heart, that you have given a special gift to each one, where we can feel things, we can experience things that it's just because we're your daughters, Heavenly Parent and Heavenly Mother. We want to offer this prayer and this time together. As Hannah said, that it's so special to be with all of our sisters here. It's even better than being in person because we get to meet all kinds of our sisters from all over the country. What an amazing aspect that we never expected that Zoom would be able to do all these things. Thank you so much for this time that we're living in. And I want to offer this prayer together with my sisters and brothers here in the name of Mamoru and Mary Hida of a Blessed Central Family. Achu.
Achu. Thank you for your beautiful prayers. We do our 4-minute unison prayer, so please feel free to unmute and offer your prayers at this time.
Gracious and beloved Heavenly
Heavenly Parent,
thank you so much for
parents, parents of heaven, earth, and
being
human
alive
kind.
at this particular time.
Thank you so very much for today's studies.
Our heart and
reflections
our
by
desire
sisters.
is truly and honestly to
Brother giving me the freedom
make sure that Heavenly
stay
Parent can love you.
home, so I wouldn't miss this live. Thank you for the call and the
Bring
long
you joy, we can
conversation,
bring you happiness
heart
in
to
any
heart with my
circumstances and
sister
in any
Kathy
situation.
Williams. And I
Heavenly
want to
Parents,
take the
please guide
time
us and
today
strengthen
to
us.
write an email.
Let's learn to do our
Because
best.
what was
We
shared
are grateful for the two
today
wonderful sisters
was what
who gave
Mary
insights
and Hannah said.
about true mother's
We
personality
just
and
didn't
heart tonight, Heavenly
realize
Parent.
a very obvious
And
fact.
we don't need to
We
go
always saw our true mother,
closer to
heard
our true
her,
mother.
but
Never may we
we,
be any part of the world.
for whatever reason,
That's how our true mother said very clearly.
wasn't outspoken
If you can
about
unite in heart with
heart.
her, incredible miracles will happen.
However,
Heavenly
she
Parents,
stated
help us who are not
several
having miracles
occasions,
in our lives.
and what Hannah shared, that the mother is provided
And due to the
for whatever
fact
reason, not to give
we
them
are very, very,
substance, nurturing
we've got
substance
incredible
to our
limitations.
children. It can
We
be a
have got many, many
tragedy.
shortcomings and failures. Our true
So
mother wants to come through and give
that
us
is
experience
the thing.
Pray for the
many, many times.
Heavenly Parents Holy
You don't give us the
Community
chance.
That
Maybe we can go
connect
through
with
this.
true
we have
But
mother.
also
recovered,
repent.
we have received
Ask for
So
your
support,
we pray for
forgiveness.
the
and
Heavenly Parents Holy
Start to
Community
love
just
you with
like
all
our
of
true
our hearts,
mother
with true mother's
sees the
heart.
tragedies,
all of our soul,
Pray, Father,
the
that we
atrocities
activate
all
ourselves
of our
people
mind, and all of our
did to
spirit.
each
outreach and
other,
devotion
and then
Heavenly
covering them with
Parents,
love
and time
is
period.
elevating,
we
is
truly and
liberating.
That
honestly want
way
to
of
pray. So Heavenly
Just
Parents,
like
and devotion
Hannah
will
wrote in her
urge
please
book
guide us
the
on this journey.
experience, the acceptance
and
of true
activate
motherhood.
ourselves
Heavenly
in
Parents,
outreach and
And then
devotion in this
Hannah,
urgent
truly
time
who
and
we
period.
are,
honestly do every will in our
we
power
don't have to
So we
judge
can
ourselves, we don't
activate
have to judge
to
ourselves
unite with
others,
your heart,
in
just
outreach
have to
to unite with
and
your
respect,
desire,
devotion in this
love,
urgent
and to
time
unite with your
period.
love.
nurture, embrace.
My Father, we pray
Please
that we
always
can
We are
fulfill our
earnestly want to
role and
pray.
nurture
Think
the
of
responsibility
the Women's Federation
in
of
the
World Peace Worldwide.
universities where
relationships
True
So you can
Mother
please
to
continue to
you.
guide and shower your mercy,
So
your love and
declare
your
her
want
blessing
to
being the
encourage,
upon
only
embrace,
begotten
us.
daughter of
that we can
God.
Bring
understand
everything within
The
their
our
hearts,
mothers
ACLC, to the
and
American
power,
Clergy
teach our
Leadership
hearts
Conference.
and
We
that's for
pray,
and
people and
Father,
true
for
mother.
the
better.
wider
And then
movement
Because
also
one
more
percent love
deeply
share.
encourage
into
each
True
other
Mother's heart.
with
Our true
We
what
mothers
pray for
we
how the
covered
wider
is having
movement
incredible
and that we can
effects
make
to
people
around the
more
world,
deeply
aware
connect
changing
to
lives of
True
people. Heavenly
Mother's
just
heart,
Parents,
as
her
we
beautiful
continue
content,
to pray for the work of
her
the Women's Federation of World Peace,
presence,
and
her spirit.
Women's
especially
Federation for World
also
Father,
Peace,
she is
pray
a
that
America,
substantial
Women's
and
Federation
also
in
He's a substantial Holy Spirit. And we can activate in outreach and devotion. And activate ourselves in outreach and devotion in this urgent time period. And we can activate in outreach and devotion in this urgent time period. We can activate ourselves in outreach and devotion in this urgent period. We pray for the WP2 Spiritual role and responsibility.
Aju. Aju. Thank you so much, everybody, for your beautiful and sincere prayers. And tonight, I want to give a special shout out to our brother, Ceballos Ngambi. He's with us every night. Every night. This person is my family in the first condition and this one, and I really feel his presence. Everybody see his face? I just want to spotlight him for everybody. This brother right here. He's with us. Do you want to say hi to everybody?
Thank you very much, Kelly. I didn't expect that, But thank you, sisters. Give me the opportunity to be able to understand True Mother's Heart a bit more. Thank you very much.
So humble, but I really just want to applaud him. That's what I felt in my prayer tonight is God really wanted to appreciate this wonderful brother who's with us every night. Thank you so much. And thank you everybody for joining. Let's get ready for tomorrow. We're going to start reading more recent speeches from Mother, and Mother's got some strong words for us to start listening to. So get ready, loosen up your muscles, and we're going to grow together. But we'll see you tonight. My mom wants to say that my dad is also joining every night too. So thanks, Dad. Love you. Okay. Okay, everybody. Have a wonderful night.
Good night.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank
Bye.
you. God bless
Good night,
you.
everybody.
Everyone.